Hello, in this video I will be showing you a whole number of things that you can do in manufacturing. This is going to be a manufacturing overview presentation, but I will go into certain areas in a bit of detail, and it will go for a while. A number of the areas that we'll look at will be things like batch manufacturing, where you can manufacture things like paint or chemicals, and there's varying quantities that are the outputs. We'll be manufacturing products that have serial numbers as their components, serial numbers as the top end. You can also do that with lots and serial numbers. I'll go through a simple process of, if you've got an organisation that always has plenty of stock, you don't need to determine the precise materials through the process that's defined in the recipe. You just want a simple one-click and process, you can do that. If you've got a process where sales orders are being generated with products that you manufacture, and then you need a process there to manufacture those items and track them, handle them via some form of priority, make sure it's ready in time for the customer, you can do all of those things. So hopefully I won't take too much of your time, and we'll go through a number of them. Alright, so let's have a look at the first one. Let's just say, very simplistically, someone's coming in and they want to buy an outdoor furniture set. And I've got one in here. We can come along, order it, and we've got a couple of buttons here. One's the materials that generate for that item, which is the outdoor setting. But if I've got enough in stock and the item, which I will drill into, we're going to go and inquire. We'll go and edit it. So in here I've got my product. I should just go to the inquire on the assembly. Here we go. So here's the assembly. Here's the items in the assembly, and you'll notice here that you can manufacture on delivery, which is what I'm doing. You can manufacture this item on demand. So if the goods are in stock, nothing else needs to be asked. You can just go straight ahead and manufacture. Alright, so here we go, come along. Someone wants the outdoor furniture. We do nothing more than process, and away we go. Goods are being processed. And that's as easy as it is for an item that's set up in that streamlined sort of process. Okay, let's say we're going to manufacture something that has serial numbers on it. Now with serial numbers, you're going to have to define those serial numbers for those items. So you'll notice we've got a red cross here saying incorrect serial numbers, etc. assigned. Let's just go into the actual item itself, and this one we're going to sell. We're going to generate a serial number for, because this serial number is just generated on going out of stock. Pop that in there, and if we hit the materials button, we'll get presented with all the materials that are required for this item to be manufactured, and we can go and pick the relevant serial numbers of the subcomponents. This one, there's not one. These get generated on the fly. As it's a non-diminishing item, pop that in. We've now defined all the products with all their serial numbers, and we can manufacture. And if there was a slight change to that assembly, you could actually come in here and go change assembly and actually change some of the components that were for that assembly. All right, simple as that. We can go and process that assembly. And as you'll see with this one here, we've defined the document that comes out, gives us the serial number here on the plan. The phone, it's got its own serial number, and same with this bronze plan, as stated. All right? So from a simple point of view, if you're just manufacturing stuff on demand, you want it built up at the point of delivery or invoice, it will do it for you nice and easy and fairly automatic there. All right? Close that off. Now, I've put a few sales orders through the system, and if you've got in the manufacturing tab in the defaults, if you've got work orders set up, And these two locations here dictate where the manufacturing occurs. And if you've got a QA system, you can also define a quality assurance location where the items get checked before they actually go through past that quality assurance approval. Here I've just put them as both locations to start with. Alright, so as I said, I put a few orders through the system, and you'll see here, here's a sales order awaiting work order. So that's just a sales order, nothing's been put into the process. It's as simple as right clicking on here, going create work order, and a work order will be created. I won't do that here because I've popped one through. Once you create the work order, you will then get a sales order that's awaiting fulfillment. So its status here at the moment, it's in the queue. So that's looking at all the sales orders and managing the sales orders in your system to be able to get manufactured. All right. If we go to the person who looks after the manufacturing of the items, we come in here, I'll go to the queued, and I've got one here which says manufacture for sales order and with the relevant transaction date, etc. And that item has come through, and I've created the work order. And we can go into this one if we like. Show work order details. And again, it's an outdoor setting that's being made here this time. All right. And it's queued, which is its status. It says a work order, and it needs to be manufactured before the 3rd of the 11th. All right. Okay. If you right click on these and you go process, mark as process ready, it's in the queue. It's either now being basically processed and ready to go through the system. So here we go. I've got one that's already been moved into process ready. This one is not linked to a sales order. This was a standalone manufacture. Okay, so in certain situations you may want to manufacture into stock. So you've already got them in stock. So you can do both. You can manage those work orders through this process or not. So if I come in here and have a look at the details, I can always turn it off. Then it's not through the work order process, which is not what I want to do, but that's the point there. All right, so let's close that off. Let's actually come back to this one here, and this time I'm going to mark it as process ready. It's now being marked as process ready. I've got two here. Now the important part is you want to make sure that you move your stock to be able to handle the manufacture of these two items into the manufacturing location. So we can go stock fulfillment. Where are we grabbing this stock from? We're going to say this location. We'll go retrieve the stock list, and here we go. Here's the stock that's required to manufacture those items. So we'll go generate orders if required and transfer. Okay, here we go, and we've now got the stock there. Now it's as simple as if I wanted to come into this item, process the work order. We can process the work order, and up it comes into your manufacture issue screen. Now again, if I just wanted to do nothing more than hit process, with this outdoor setting I've got enough stock. I could do that and the job's done. If you want to have greater detail, you can go to the materials tab and generate based upon the recipe, and it'll bring the items in here. So you may decide at this point, I'm not actually going to use this particular hose. I'm going to change it to another item. You can do so. If you want to remove that item because that's not going to be part of this manufacture, you can do so as well. And there are varying levels here based upon generate to lowest, etc. I'll show you what those do in another manufacture process. All right. But in principle, I can come along here now and process. And that's now gone. All right. It's now sitting in the quality assurance bucket. Test it, make sure everything's all okay, hasn't got any scratches or dings. Then you can go and mark it as complete. It's now finished. We go back to the sales order process. Here's the sales order awaiting fulfillment. And we can now go invoice the order. Up it comes. Invoice quantity, deliver quantity, everything's ready there to go. And I can go and hit process. Now if I did want to click on this button, it's pointless. The stock's allocated, there will be no stock there. So away we go, we can process that invoice, and the stock's now gone through. All right. Okay. If I close this off now, that's generally the work order process. Now let's just have a look at it again from a more simplistic approach. Let's just say all you wanted to do was come in and manufacture an item. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put one item in here. It's going to be what we call the men's superbike. And I should have enough stock, but this time I'm going to go to the materials tab and I'm going to go and generate to recipe. Here's the 3 items, okay? We see a warning here. It says stock will go into negative. This item is also a sub-assembly. I don't want to do that because I know I've got the components underneath. So let's explode. You can explode all the way to the lowest component level, or you can just explode down to the next viable level. Explodes down and it will go and grab the next level of components down. It goes, yep, there is enough stock for these and I could manufacture it. All right, I'm just going to clear that, and you can just say straight off, I want to generate everything to the lowest. In other words, all of its components. As you see, there are some that are not in stock. I can do that as well. If you wanted to, and there were multiple items in here, you can actually aggregate them, and it will aggregate the same item up into one line. All right, I'll clear it again. Or you can just simply say generate to level 1, we'll go to level 1. We could say generate to level 2, it'll go to level 2, and so on. So there's a number of ways you can break down what the items are that you are going to manufacture. In other words, the components that are required to build that item. So let's just clear that. We can generate to recipe. Here are the items. We'll go on this one. We will explode down to the next level. Now got enough, and I can go and manufacture. And away we go. All right. One thing I should show you in here, if I come along, we'll go and have a look at transaction settings, and I've got it on print at the moment. Let's just change this to print preview. Hit OK. So now we can actually bring it up. And I'm going to manufacture that same item again. So we'll go pick that superbike again. Go to materials, generate. Now I don't have enough stock there. Let's see if I can explode. Yep. Explode again. Back wheel, explode again. Got enough stock there. All right. I can either from a draft perspective, from a document that needs to go into the workshop, whatever, you can build a whole number of documents that show you the layout. So here's all the items that are dictated by that manufacture issue. I can also show the whole assembly, etc. If I've got documents that I need to attach to this particular run, I can go and attach documents. I can have the design, patterns, everything attached if I need to. All right. Won't process this one. I'll close it down. Probably a better one to show you what they would look like if I come back to manufacture work orders, process ready. Let's go and have a look at the work order details here. All right. I can also have a bit of a preview, and this one here should have its assembly recipe presented there for you nice and easily with what the quantities are required. All right. Okay, last thing we're going to do is I'm just going to manufacture a batch-based process. So I'm going to come down here, pick my gold paint. It's going to be from that location to that location. I'm going to make 1,000 tins of it. All right. Come to the materials, generate to recipe. Don't have enough stock. Maybe I'll make a bit less. Let's clear it. Go back. Let's say make, not 1,000, let's say 100 tins. All right. Hopefully we've got enough stock for that. Go to the materials, generate to material. Got enough stock for it. That's great. Here's my base paint. Here's my gold tint. And I've also got some labour attributed to it. I'm not going to go into detail as to how the labour works, but in principle, the the labour can be handled through this process as well, and you can put varying different rates, the whole bit on there. All right, so here we go, got the product ready to go. Let's go process and manufacture the paint. Oh, wait a sec. When we manufactured and we made this batch, due to some spillages and stuff, we didn't actually get 100 tins out of it. We actually only got 95. All right, so I'm going to change that to 95. You'll get a warning here that states quantity has been changed since materials were generated. That basically means this was the batch of materials that were used, but instead of being 1,000, it's actually only 95. So it's going to manage the whole wastage process there in regards to all of it. Okay, I'm going to go hit process. And now I've manufactured into stock all the relevant items that were required. And away we go. That's done. You can also handle things like, what's a simple example? You can handle things like, you can put negative quantities on your assemblies. So if part of the process of doing a manufacture entails that you have a byproduct that you will then repackage and sell, you can actually create the byproducts as well. All right. Hope that's helpful. There's a lot more you can do in the manufacturing side of things here, from simple to quite complex. If you need more information, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you for watching, and thank you for choosing Sybiz.